and welcome to our first ever Press Enterprise High School Football video podcast. I am Press Enterprise Sports Editor Tim Hare, and with me is one of our writers, Arthur Dowell. This is the first time we're doing this, so bear with us while we work out some of the bugs. But we're just going to be doing this every week to talk about high school football, and me and Arthur are going to be talking about Central Columbia. So, not a lot of positives to talk about with Central. It's been a rough first half. You've seen them once, I've seen them once. What have you seen from Central, who's 0-5 at this point?
Well, definitely saw that they can't run the football. They're not effective there. I don't know, sometimes it was the running back's fault, sometimes there's no holes. But really, I think passing game has been an understatement here, and they're just not turning to that as much. And also my game, I would say injuries was a big key factor.
Yeah, they've been injured. Brady Crawford, maybe their best player. They lost him for a little bit. Britton Cook, I don't think played last week. And you talk about that running game that they can't get going, and he's a guy that they need to have healthy to have any chance at running the ball. To this point, who would you say is their MVP?
I actually have two MVPs, the co-MVPs. I have Brady Crawford and Eli Petersheim. And both of them combined, they have 22 catches, 246 yards. And again, passing game and undervalued. They're at Central. And between the two of them, with 246 yards, each of them with 123 yards receiving there. They're both in the top 12 in our local paper here.
Yeah, another name I'd throw out there is Colton Young. Big guy, and you talk about that line struggling to get the running game going. But, if there's one guy up front who's been able to get it done, I think it's Colton Young. They've been one-dimensional on offense. They've had to throw. They've been able to give Farver some time to, he's thrown about 30 times a game.
Yeah.
Which, when teams know you can't run and you're that one-dimensional, defensive lines just, they pin their ears back and they come after you. And, I feel like that left side of the line has done a good job at least giving Farver a little bit of time to, keep his jersey clean and not end up on the ground.
Absolutely, and at 101 throws on this season, he only has 3 picks, so it's not too bad.
And again, especially when teams know you're going to have to throw that many times to limit the interceptions like that. That you talk about silver linings, but that's something that at least you can look at and maybe build on. How do you see the second half of the season going for them?
Not very well.
Yeah.
Scoreless in the last 6 quarters. I saw that with you writing up yesterday. And, 40-0 shutout against Southern. Obviously Southern's the number 1 team in our region, so it's a little hard to compare. But I don't see them doing very well in the next 5 weeks either. But maybe they can squeak out a win or two. But right now, it's definitely a painted picture of what it's going to be like there.
Yeah, you look at the second half of the schedule. They play Lewisburg this week. Lewisburg does not give up points. So Central, you mentioned they haven't scored in 6 quarters. We might be talking about 10 quarters on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
They still have to play Bloom, who they haven't beaten in 10 years.
Still astonishing.
It is. It really is, with some of the talent that's come through Central. You'd think it would happen once, but it just haven't. And I don't think this is the year that it does happen.
I don't think so either.
You look at the second half, and I really think the only winnable game for them to avoid an 0-10 season is Towanda, who I got to see against Bloom. And Towanda can move the ball. That's not a gimme for Central. We could be looking at 0-10. Is the future that bleak for Central? Is this a sign of where the program is headed? More 1-9, 0-10 type seasons?
I hope not, but as of right now, I feel like there's some high expectations in the beginning of the season with the passing game, but they're really not turning to that. I think they could go to the passing game in the future and build off of that because the running game just is not working. And maybe they can get some bigger kids in the backfield, but I don't know. I think the future is a little bit brighter than 0-10 for Central in the next coming years.
Yeah, you look at them right now, 0-5. I was looking around District 4. Only 3 other winless teams in the district. So clearly we're not talking about the playoffs for Central Columbia.
Yeah.
But when we talk about the future, I think they had 23 freshmen on the preseason roster. Jason Hippensteel was really high on that 9th grade class. The little bit I've seen of Kai C. Schultz at quarterback, he seems like a kid that when Farver leaves, he seems like a guy that can kind of build the offense around. And we might be looking at a cycle like when Hippensteel first came back, where they had an Eric McCracken and a couple kids like that, and they kind of had to build towards winning a Heartland title in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we're talking about Central being competitive in 2017.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
I think that's pretty reasonable.
Especially if he has some high praise for the ninth graders. Once they come up, get some in-game experience, it can only help them when they're seniors.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so unusual to have that big a freshman class who's dressing on Friday nights.
Yeah.
So, well, I think we've exhausted everything we can talk about with Central Columbia football in the first half of the season. Like I said, this is our first week that we're doing podcasts. So if you enjoyed it, please watch next week. We will have another one every week of the season. And if you like football content, and I have a hint that you might if you're watching this, please go to pressenterpriseonline.com. You'll find all our stories. You'll find tweets from our games. You'll find a link to our weekly playbook and all sorts of football goodness. So go there, check all that out. It's all great stuff. So, Arthur, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching. And keep tuning in for more of our podcasts.